What is good, guys? It's your boy Ron, and you're watching or listening to the Ron Show, the Game Changer. So, today I'm going to be talking about what I've been up to since I last literally saw you guys, which was months ago during the Game Changer. Of course, yesterday was the Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers, which I'm not going to be talking about for a couple of weeks. But I really do want to talk with you guys about what I've been up to lately. Um, so within this long ass, long ass time since I've last saw you guys, um, I was in a program. If you guys remember the last video, I'll be damn impressed because you know what? It's kind of been a long time since I last made this video, and it's kind of it's kind of been a really long time. But the last time that I saw you guys was, I want to say, like 6 months ago, and I talked about a program that I was recently a part of. And within this program, I was I was not myself. Um, I left in October. Of course, if you did see the podcast and what was the episode called? I think it was called "Finding Your like where are you?" So it was kind of a funny video of like telling you guys what I've been up to and working and all this stuff. And now here I am 6 months later. Nothing has been really up with me, but I've got to say the fact of the matter that I have a lot of shit going on. I'm telling you, nothing with me has ever changed more than myself. Um, and if you guys remember the episode of Where Are You, I go ahead and talk about this particular program, which, if I do mention the program now, supposedly to 6 months ago, it wouldn't even change the matter of the fact. But I used to be a part of this program um, within this, community service of Westchester. And part of the fact that I left the organization was because I felt in a living hell. And I don't want to say hell in a bad way, but hell in a good way because they didn't want to change in a matter of what was coming to them versus how did I actually feel in the midst of what was I going through. Part of what I went through was a lot. Um, you know, I have social anxiety. I was dealing a lot with friendships, and I was very depressed. Um, and I don't know if you could recognize within those couple of episodes where I did the game changer, and you could kind of see it within Nick's take, within a couple of the videos that I did. But when you see my facial reaction, there were times where I wouldn't even expect where I would be destroying myself. Um, and part of that was because I have epilepsy. So for me, like when I would think about those things, whatever would be going on with me, I would be destroying myself, mentally and physically, no matter what the aspect was. And I kind of felt down. I really did. It wasn't fun, but I'll tell you something. It was worth what I've been expecting. With, and I remember times where I used to be in this program. I would need to do a lot of things. So like when you look back at it, I had to do a lot of things, make sure I would have a community hub worker and this and this and that. And for me, it wouldn't be so easy because if I wouldn't be able to find a community hub worker, you would have been out of the program, which within this program's name, they called it a community. Without even the word community, they just said, okay, you're a part of the community, but if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're out. The hell you're out. And that destroyed me. It really did because nothing was ever the same with me. I really hurt myself. I really did. And the only people that I ever said this to was, of course, you guys, the audience that are watching, and also my friends from Long Island. Some of them over here, during my social groups and all that stuff. But in terms of outsiders from the program, I did not tell them jack shit. And it killed me because there were times where I was in the program and I always blamed the director at the time. Of course, right now it's a different one since I left. But at the time, I really did get hurt by how the situation was handled by the upper the people who were in charge and the staff. I give full credit to the staff, but when it came down to business, it was okay. We're gonna give you a paper that says emergency contact number. And let me tell you something. That emergency contact number is now in my drawer. Of course, I don't want to show you guys because it has all their names and all that stuff. But they gave me this paper saying if it's from the hours from 6 to 9 or like what was it 6 to 12, you have to call 911. I could tell you something, I wasn't able to call 911. When I would have my epilepsy, or let me just clarify this, when I would have my seizures, I would physically feel like someone would choke me to death. And there would be times where I would just sit there and just go back and forth like a roller coaster ride. And I felt very lonely. Like I felt lonely, I felt lost, and I felt like I was really killing myself. But as the days were coming pretty by fast, within being in this program, I did not know what to do mentally and physically. And if I do, if if one of them is either watching this, I feel blessed that they're watching this. You know why? Because for the first time, I want one of these people to show their colleagues and be like, he just put us on the spotlight, and we told him not to mention about this place. Really. So if if someone has epilepsy, doesn't matter which one. You could have the staring ones, you could have I forgot what the other one was called because one of the people that I met with in the program, she said the name of it, the name of that epilepsy. Um, Grand mal seizure. There we go. And that's the one where you go back and forth like a roller coaster. And I didn't know what to do. I couldn't be very truthful. I couldn't be very honest with those guys because at the time the director was such an ass. She was really an ass. And to think about it, when I look back at it, it's like, did I make a good decision? Did I not make a good decision? I feel like I did. But there will be some times where I was like, well, if I made this decision, why am I still hoarding myself as I'm making the game changer or whatever? It's like, and I'm just like, I really need to let it out. This is the only platform I can let it out. Within the community service, this is the only thing I could let it out. And I'm not just saying this because, oh, well, Iran feels pissed because of X, Y, and Z. Well, yeah, I do feel pissed as if it was X, Y, and Z. But when you think about it, if you join a program, first of all, you want to feel welcome. Checked. That's what they did. But when you don't invest in the person, you don't like learn about him. You don't like do any single thing of like, okay, we're gonna throw you, and then like you have to figure shit out on your own. Like, oh, we want you to make friends with this person, that person. And let me tell you something. My mom is the same thing. Like, ever since I moved here to Westchester, and this takes me back to what I said during the episode of Where Are You? My mom is that type of person where she's like, I know these guys, I know that guy, and all that stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I'm struggling mentally and physically, and I don't know what to do. Like, there's some days where I'm just like, well, it's just me. So, I wish I could find the answers, but I don't know how. I wish I knew, but I don't know. And I remember being in this program, they wanted you to make so many friends. And they had this like um dictionary, like they had people that you could talk to and emails and phone numbers and all that stuff. And I was just like, at the time when I was in the program, I was like, damn, like, what am I getting myself into? I'm like, why are they pushing me to making new friends? Like, I'm a person that has social anxiety, so I really pick my friends out and about. Like, I'm just not that person to say, you're my friend today. Come and be with me, and then all that stuff. When I was in there, I was just very careful, like very careful. Like, if you were to ask me, you're like, you want to hang out and this, and like, I would be like, yeah, I like, sure. But then there would be other times where I would be like, why am I hanging out with this person? I have no common interest with him. No. And I want someone who's somewhat like me. Even if that person is not like me, like I want that person to have same interest. I like basketball. That guy likes basketball. I like having conversation. This guy likes having conversation. And I want that person to have a connection with me. You want to have that person that knows your language. What do I mean by language? Is how that person talks to you. You want to be leveled with that person. You want to know that person very closely, and not just picking out of your ass and saying, I like this, I don't like that. Like, if you don't like what I like, and then we're just going to be like, okay, well, we're going to sit down, we're going to eat dinner, we're going to come back, we're going to, then what's in it? Like, I remember there was a couple of hangouts where I would go to a friend's house and I would just be like, what? I would just be staring into space, looking at their apartments, and I would be like, what? Like, even before, when I was in the program, like, if you watched the last episode that I talked about this whole program, I want you to really take on what I talked about last episode. Where are you? And I just put the R and the U because, of course, I wanted to be cool at the time. But when you check that episode out, and I'll show you maybe a couple of clips, but when you see what I'm talking about and how they handle the program, Don't like don't call me around. Like really. Like just I I I don't know. Because it's true. I could tell you something. When I was there, I wasn't myself. Absolutely not. There would be times where I would go to sleep at 2 in the morning and just destroy myself. Part of having epilepsy was because of lack of sleep. I destroyed myself 100%. If I told you, nah, it's because of this guy, it's because of that guy, it's because of this and that, I would have picked shit out of my ass. Really. Now, when you look at me outside of this program, months later, I feel happy. I feel well connected. Now, of course, my parents weren't like, they wanted to be, they wanted to make me very social, very, okay, let's make him go to another place. And the thing is that I want to be far from here in Westchester. Like I really want to be far. And my knowing my parents, they're like, and it's more my mom than my dad. My dad is more of that cool guy, who's like, okay, he's I'm pretty confident in him, like whatever, like if he decides to do this, like fuck it, go have fun. But within my mom, she's like, oh shit, I need to find something for him local. And sometimes I like it, but I'll tell you something. It's just some of these places that I go to, it's not for me. Like, there's this one program that I'm, going to constantly, and I'm actually going there in a couple of hours from now. But I go, and I have a good time. We do bowling, we go out, we watch movies and this, that. But like, if I would have told you guys that this is the same thing as what I previously did 6 months ago, I would tell you that it's the same thing, you know. And my parents would always tell me, "That's what you did in Long Island. This is what you." Well, what I did in Long Island was a little bit different. First of all, I went to school in Long Island. I made friends in Long Island, and yes, even though my some of my friends were in the spectrum, those were my childhood friends who I went to school, who I bonded close. We were like brothers, and we still hang out till this day. Supposedly, when I'm here, and they're just like, "Oh, you're wrong. Okay, man, you're right. Don't do this. Okay, can come here. This, that, bah, boop, boop." And it was just the same thing, you know. This program that I'm now in, it's the same thing as the one that I was previously in 6 months ago. So it's like there's no difference. If I told you there was a difference, there was a difference. If I told you there was no difference, there's no difference. But I just don't feel that connection. I'm not, and let me tell you guys this. A couple of days ago, this was on Friday, I went to a Knicks party. And of course, if you follow me on Knicks Take, I went to Knicks Fan TV's party. I could tell you the amount of having fun, even though I was alone, was the best time. Even though we lost game 6, I had the time of my life, despite the fact that I have social anxiety and that I'm very picky with people who I want to go with. I had fun. People with anxiety tend to have fun, and yes, even though they can lift up a phone and to say hello, because it's hard. I'm charging my phone anyways because I don't want to run out of battery. But the fact that I could lift up my phone and say, "Hello, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, bye," and then just like hang up, like for me, then I have to worry too much because of that anxiety in myself, and I'm like, well, should I? Okay, I'm just gonna be worried about it because what if he doesn't have the ticket? What? Like I'm a person where I worry too much about other people. Like if that person doesn't have a ticket to come with me to a party, I go into anxiety. But if it's someone that I know and someone that I really do know 100%, yeah, sure, come with me. Because I know that even though I might have anxiety while going to an event that I like with the same person that has the same interest as me, I know I'm going to have a good time. By the way, let me add some background music. Um, since I like using live StreamYard's music. So yeah. You know what I mean? Much better. It's just the matter of the fact. Actually, a different song. I can't find. Okay, let me try to find a different lo-fi. I like lo-fi. You know what I mean? Like if I go with that same person that has interest as I do, I go. Now let's say if that person is someone that is new, but I just like hanging out with him. And let's say he doesn't have interest in watching basketball, but he likes to go to, music festival or maybe, something that he likes, but he 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 won't. But I'll also keep on there. But he knows how to get me, invested in what he likes. Let's go. Like as long as that new person that I hang out with tells me, oh, well, let me tell you what it's about. It's about A, B, and C. And let me tell you something. Each time that I go to my Wednesday group, I feel so invested with people that I enjoy having conversations because then I'm just like, you know what? Let me hang out with that person, even though I don't know how to pick up the phone. And then, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Maybe hanging out with them is not the best time for me because of my anxiety and all that stuff. But I'm willing to have that conversation with that person, which brings me to a good common ground because even though I might have that anxiety of saying, lift up the phone and give him a call or her a call, whatever, it still brings me to a good common ground to say, he doesn't have interest in basketball, but if he has interest in, showing me a comedy skit that I've never seen before, and he's just telling me, oh, they're making fun of this, and like they have this verbal conversation with me and I'm so invested, that is a person that I want to hang out with. That is a person that I know that they will be interested, even though it's not part of my interest. He or she just invested me into what they like because now I like it so much that they've told me what their interest and how to get me into their same interest, even though it's not going to be there with me the whole entire time, getting out of that social group place and being like, oh, let me, watch this and that, because one time I tried it. So like I talked with some of these guys and one of them likes smart like what is that show called? Marty Python. And I'm just like, I don't really have. But the best part is that this particular person, you know, will tell me, well, what they're basically doing is they're making fun of this, and it's just so funny because I know, even if let's say if it's like a SNL skit or something like that, doesn't matter what it is. But let's say if that person gets me, interested, or just shows me that skit on whatever website, YouTube, then like all that stuff, it's very interesting. And I don't know how to describe it. Like really, I really don't. You know what I mean? Like as long as that person does that, sign me up. Like literally sign me up. Because I know when I choose a person to know how to have a conversation, even though maybe sometimes I'm not gonna be friends with him or her, I'm gonna have a good time. Like as long as someone is gonna tell me, hang out with that person. How about you do that? How about you hang out with that guy? Try. Like if you keep on pushing me, it's not gonna help. Like if you tell me, hang out with this guy Bill, well, you just wasted 20 seconds of my time to introducing me to him, and you prompted me to make me hang out with Billy. You know what I mean? Like now I don't have the sense of motivation to hang out with a Billy or something like that. Because the thing is that I know what my capability is. And yes, my parents would do the same thing, but my parents are not there. But when they do the same thing as what I was previously in my program, and in this one, which is the same sponsor as the other program that I used to be a part of, there's no difference. Because then they'll tell you, okay, uh, go there. Okay, you having fun? Okay, and sometimes I'm just like, you're ruining them. Like, there's no capability to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if I told you, talk to my friend Austin. Talk to him. Like, come on, like you're prompting me where I don't want to be prompted. You're really and it's pissing me off. It's like go and you shove that person. You literally shove that person for no explanation. You decide to do it, and it pisses me off. It really does, because then I find myself very upset and very pissed because now I don't have interest. I literally don't. And that's what happened when I was in this particular program 6 months ago. The first one that I was in, not this one, the first one. And of course, I can't mention the name, but if you do watch Where Are You, you'll know what I'm talking about. Actually, let me pull up that video because I do have it on my tab, and I did maybe 3 takes of it. So let me show you what I talked about. So yeah, yeah. By the way, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, ring that notification bell. And if you're on Spotify, make sure to follow. And yeah, more videos like this. I'm also going to try to put in the Knicks take when the season comes back, or maybe in the next couple of weeks. But here's what I talked about last video.
just like having a girlfriend or something like that, maybe a family. I can't see that myself here in terms of like, you know, sending my kids to school or something like that. But you know, it's just that's like that's way more looking ahead. I mean, yeah. Now I'm gonna read it, and then you just throw it back, and you're like, okay, let's go on an adventure. This now, oh shit, I found a note, and it's like you see a note.
I'm trying
It's
to.
almost like going on a you'll see like a temple or a JCC like in your face. Over here you have to like it's almost like going on a scavenger hunt. You know, you see a note and then you're like, "Oh shit, I found a note." And it's like, "Oh man, like, you know, I just found this. Now I'm going to read it." And then you just throw it back and you're like, "Okay, let's go on an adventure." And you're just like Dorn boots or whatever the fuck. So you know, it's like you're going on an adventure, but you're just having that hard time to find that Jewish community. But luckily, since you know, my parents kind of know here, mostly my mom kind of knows here the Jewish community. At least I have that help from my mom, and I've got to say I really appreciate it because if it wasn't for my mom knowing this community within Westchester, I wouldn't be here. And you know, um, like I said before, there's just some, you know, and listen, it doesn't really come from that, but it just comes from like having that instinct to say, you know what, if you have a platform, screw it, just say what's on your mind because that's how you'll feel much better. And the way that I'm saying, um, the way that I'm expressing about myself within this program and that they have each year that you have to pay within this program of like, you know, pa- paying yearly, it's kind of like, okay, you know. And listen, this is my, like, literally, I just was here for a year and a half. So, you know, now I have to pay another thousands of dollars somewhat in this month of July. And I have to like be like, do I want to stay here? Do I not? You know what? I'll stay here for 1 year, one more year. But if not, there's no point, you know. Because here's the thing, um, even I knew outsiders that were from this program that even just like were like, I can't do this shit anymore. Like I can't be within this program. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people that were in this program that just left. And I'm like, my God, like I got to talk to these people because you know, if they've been here for a couple of years and been like, you know, it was X ABC XYZ whatever, then I could get a sense of like, you know, thinking to myself, can I see myself going to these ongoing activities? No, yes, maybe. So I don't know, but you gotta like at least take your time in the flow. So you know, it is what it is because it's like what I said before in the beginning of the show. I said to myself, I don't want to give up. אני לא רוצה לוותר על סתם מקום שמשלם לי thousands of dollars ולהגיד, הם לא עושים כלום, הם כל הזמן עושים יוגה ו...
So yeah, that's what I basically talked about. Of course, some of the rest of the video is on and on and on in Hebrew, but yeah, this particular program, when I first came here within this community service, they charged a lot of money for me to be in it. And they, if they would have had a service where, let's say you're funded by OPWDD, or I don't know, straight up like other services within your budget, why couldn't you do that? because other people didn't have that. And for me to stick up and to say, well, WTF, why can't you give certain accommodations where it could be a little bit cheap? Now this new one that I joined, it's only $250 per month. But then again, it's the same thing where it's like you're gonna go bowling, you're gonna go to the movies, you're gonna go to a restaurant, you're gonna take a walk, get some ice cream, repeat. Masita busy, you know? What did you do with that time? You know? What in God's name did you do at that time? You know? Like, and I'm not saying okay, it's good that it's cheap. It's good. But the more activities that you start bringing up together as one, that's an idea. I could tell you that if you're a person watching who is working with these community service organizations in Westchester, I'm available. I want to be hired. I do not want to be the unknown. Like, I went to the JCC in Roslyn, wide open arms. I loved it. To be honest, I really did love it. I moved here, know a couple of people, they don't know, and it's just crazy. Like, the kids are letting me on. Let me fast forward. So I got out of this program 6 months ago. A couple of weeks before, I had seizures around like what, September 28th, something like that, before October 7th, which was an eye opener of what happened. Um, yeah, it was very weird because when that happened, I felt like crying. And I had no one. I left the program. There was not even, it's Yoron's last day. Let's let's all say thank you and all this stuff. There was no toda. There was no toda. There was no thank you, Yoron. Why are you leaving? There was no conversation whatsoever. People today who are still in this program are still asking me, why did I leave? Why did I leave? Now they know why. Because of the former director not even listening to different people's opinions, who had 6 people in this particular program, and they left because of certain things that their parents, including them, were pissed. And I was the last one to leave on this old director's ass. Well, she had a cast. Never forget it. She had a cast, and she was just like, "Hold on a sec. I'll show you how." So the former director would come up the last couple of weeks, and the last couple of weeks that I was in it, and you know everyone would go well and this and that. The last couple of weeks that I was in this program, while it was September, before all of this balagan mess came up to my life, destroying myself, my inner self, now I feel much more happier, which I'm going to get to in a couple of minutes. But I'll never forget it because she was giving out people who were in the program for 4 years, and without a shadow of a doubt, she just comes in like this with a splint in her hand, by the way, and she comes up like this. Oh, why are you doing that? And I'm just like, you're really gonna pull this guy out? This. What happened to your arm? What happened to your arm? What happened? Did you twist it? Did do you want more center of attention to for you so I could give to you? And then the next couple of months you decide to retire. As you bring up this stunt. This this is so funny. This former director has the audacity to bring up this stunt. This stunt. I'm not falling for that shit anymore. She ruined my life. She disrespected my parents and my family. Now it's out there. Now it's out there. Anyone who decides to bring up a stunt and disrespect my family or my parents, you're going to get fucked up big time. Big time. And with that old director lady, as much as she pulled out that stunt, the last couple of weeks that I was in the program, I did not fall for it. I remember it so vividly because right after my heart was beating and I came back to this apartment. Now, of course, you probably saw the first half of it when I did the last episode of Where Are You? I came back to the kitchen and I talked to myself. I said the same exact thing. And to me, I felt very, very destroyed. Because at the same time, I was like, I want to stay here. But if they're not willing to physically, like, what is it going to take? What? Like, for you to come out with a stunt and to be like, well, if you have this, that's your problem. If you have that, that's your problem. In my entire life, I have never felt like this before. Never. And when it was the last day in September, being in that program, the amount of sadness I felt like I needed to cry. I really did. I really did. Because you know why? I knew that I could grow a pair of balls just like anyone else. It was just so hard. It was really hard. And right after I left, going back to what happened on October 7th, I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to. I just didn't. Now, yet again, it was, I think I had my psychologist at that time, but I didn't know what to do. I felt like I needed to cry. I felt like knowing that is my family safe? Is everyone safe? And to hear on the news on and on and on, it wasn't it wasn't so it wasn't the best. It wasn't the it wasn't the moment for me to say, okay, I have people to talk to. And I'll never forget it. I got an email from that former director saying that, okay, there's going to be a person, and I still have this email. I could show it to you, but I might have to cover up the, the email itself and her name and all that stuff. But she wrote this email clarifying, oh, today this this person and that person is going to come in and talk to us about October 7th. But you're a community, right? So if you're a community, invite me as well. But I have to pay $14,000. I, Yaron Holy, have to pay $14,000 to come and watch a person within the organization to say, oh, everything's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. What is it that you need to do? I don't know. You tell me. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about those last couple of months of September and October of last year, of course. And I'm just to myself, it really surprises me that I look back at it and I'm just like, Yaron, do not think about it because that's when you destroyed yourself. Now you're recreating yourself. This is the era where I recreate what I envisioned, how I envisioned. It's kind of true. It's kind of true. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to think about what happened last month or last year in September and in October. And I sit here and I dwell, like not now, but at the time, I sat and I dwelled. It wasn't. It was not a good time to think about. You know what I mean? Like I still think about it, and I'm just like, you made the right decision. Don't dwell about it. Move on. And I could tell you guys something. I feel so much happy moving forward. Each time that I go to some of the to some of my volunteer works, which is actually at the same place as the program that I used to join, they share the same facility here in Westchester. And sometimes I go there every single Monday, and I'm just like, I really don't see myself being at this scanning place on and on and on. I could see myself maybe volunteering in like be like a radio station, doing what I usually do best, making YouTube videos, letting it all out. But if they like, that's the thing, because when I think of it that way and they check out one of these videos, they'll be like, some organizations will be like, oh, well, you mentioned this organization, just letting you know it's not professional and this and that. Listen, you want me, you want me. You don't want me, you don't want me. It's an either or, you know. Not to bring out any single organization, but I'm just saying to people who I'm showing this to, with all due respect, of course. But now I recreate myself, and let me tell you guys something. Within this week, and since what you guys since been singing since last time that I recorded myself, I think it was like 2 months ago that yeah, last time that I did record myself, I asked the Q&A questions of, oh, Israel and this and that. But then it was kind of like, okay, sorry, that's my phone. I should have paused it. I didn't, I'm using StreamYard now, so it's kind of the best that I don't really have to pause and do any. Doesn't matter. Um, but you know, it's it's quite of a it's quite a coincidence that seeing my schedule now opposed to what I've been dealing with last time that I made a video about this, and even before that, because before that I made a video about focusing on Israel and this and that, and Am Yisrael Chai and this, and it was just at that time I was just like really bored. I wanted to make a video so everyone could have an uplift, and since then I haven't really been focusing myself. Like even in, like, I want to say I haven't really been focusing on myself since October. Like since October and moving forward, like I haven't. This is the first month where I woke up, and a couple of weeks ago, like what was it? Literally, I want to say like early May, I had another one. Now that one wasn't occurred to the program, but it was occurred to some friends that pissed me off, and whole relationship shit where we have some relationship problems in life. It happens, but my head was in this momentum of, some people could really focus on you and just be like, Yaron, what's going on with you? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not hanging out with that guy? Why are you? And it's like, why do you have to make it a big TMZ moment? Like I'm trying to have a peaceful life with myself. If you're bored and you're still in the program yourself, go to the program, ask someone else to piss them off. Don't ask me. I want to live a peaceful life by myself. I'm thirsty. So, you know what I mean? Like, like if someone is in my business, it's just not gonna go out well. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. By the way, guys, what I just did right now is my dad was calling me. I had to do something. I went downstairs. Thank God that StreamYard has a pause button. So I was just like, okay, I gotta jot down what I'm gonna say and come back to the conclusion. But luckily, I do remember what I was gonna talk about. So yeah, but that's the best part about StreamYard. Shout outs. Not sponsored, but shout out to them for having the pause button. So, but yeah, if you're listening to this, also that's the same thing. But yeah, I don't like it when people are in my business and just all that gossip of what's going on. And when I was dealing with that, it was so much that I really physically destroyed myself, and it wasn't good, but yeah, and this was just like in April, so it was like a lot of shit in my head, and also the matter of the fact that like at one point in my life I was like, because some of these people within the program, they actually live here in this particular apartment complex where I live in. So it's kind of like, oh, now they're gonna want me to know the story of what's going on with me and someone else. Like, no, just stop talking about it. I do not want to be, you know, the TMC spotlight and all that stuff. I want you to leave me alone. Focus on your life and not mine. You want to talk about it with someone else? Talk about it with someone else. Be my guest. But this has nothing to do with me anymore. I'm focusing on my inner ability and my inner self, you know. But yeah, you know, yeah. But I'll tell you what I'm up to nowadays since I'm doing much, much better. Um, First things first is that moving to a different apartment within the same complex. You know, because if you guys seen my YouTube videos and where I live, you know, it's kind of like I live in a studio where it's like way too big. In my bedroom, I don't have sunlight and all that stuff. So that's number one. And I'm gonna be moving out like in the summertime. So, you know, but yeah, and then I've been doing some classes within one of the biggest, I think, yeah, one of the biggest organizations for people with intellectual disabilities and people within the spectrum of autism, ARC. By far the best organizations I've ever been to. The people there are really nice. I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm taking classes over there, so I guess you could call them teachers. You could call them whatever you want to call them, but they're the best by far. You know, the class that I'm taking with ARC is about independence. It's about learning how to budget. It's about relations. I'm saying relations spit, but I'm meant to say relationship. There we go. Now I thought, okay, relationship, like a ship. So relationship, um, you know, getting a job professionally, and I think it's a really good thing. You know, I think with what ARC is doing is a really good thing. Like I remember going to ARC in Long Island, but over there in Long Island, it wasn't something big. It wasn't like, I think the thing is with ARC in Long Island is that it was very like the unknown because it was so far. And it's like, I forgot what town it was in, but it was like really far. Like, of course, there was Escapades, which was not too far from the ARC in Long Island. But I was like, I remember times where I used to go there. And of course, being that teenager in high school, or like, I don't think I was a teenager. I think I was just like a young adult. I was like 20, 21. I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy my time like there in ARC in like Long Island at the time because like you're 21 and you're still learning and all that stuff. But now looking at years later, me being 27, literally next week, and I'm thinking, wow, like I'm taking classes in ARC of Westchester. Like, damn, this is so much fun. And to me, it's like I feel this rush. I feel this rush of like wanna I wanna do it. Like I really wanna like get something out of it. And it's like it's so much fun. Like me learning their new things, even though it's the same thing, coming back to it's itself. I feel like going there each and every maybe what is it, 3, 4 months. And I remember like one of the people who's in charge of this particular program. I don't want to say the name of the classes that it's called, but she always told me that there's another, you know, place that I should be like, you know, there's another, you know, partnership within ARC. And like till this day, I'm thinking, should I do it? But then I have to give up on other things that I want to do within my personal schedule. And it's hard because you think to yourself, well, if you want to do this, you're going to have to doing this for a certain amount of time. And in your head, you're like, okay, on the bright side, you you can do it. One, like, don't pressure yourself, but just think about it. And that's what, like, the thing with them is that they're very open to my decision. And I really do appreciate that. Like, even till this day, I'm like, like in my head, I'm just like, do I wanna? And I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, I don't think so. Like, and it's like sometimes I'm just like, I want to do it, but then it's like some days I'm like, I don't want to give up that, and then it's like some days and just like your head is going mind-boggling. But luckily for the people in ARC, they're very like open, and they're like, whenever you want to join, come along. You know, you'll fill out a couple of like. They're very nice, awesome people, by far, amazing. Looking back at it, like when I did it in Long Island, you know, I was a teenager, so I was like, even not even a teacher, but like a real young adult. I was 21, 22, and I was just like, I was being this lazy guy who was, you know, being in one of their like affiliates, I guess, because over there it's not ARC, it was actually AHRC. And like being that, young adult, 20, 21, it was like, I don't really want to work. So what I did was I used to slack off on my phone and all, do all those things. But that was me as a teen, like as a young adult. And then like now I'm taking classes at ARC of Westchester. And like I've learned so much about myself. Like even let's say if I mentioned them right now, which I'm so happy to mention them because they're amazing people, like over here in Westchester, and like I think they're like really popular within the United States. I think so. I would do some research. Me too. I'm gonna probably do a little bit of research. I could pull it up right now and search it up, but I'm too tired. I'm too lazy. But I would give credit to them. You know. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I do on Mondays. Or not? No, sorry. Mondays is the scanning program that I usually do at that community service organization in Westchester. Then on Tuesdays I go to ARC and I do that class. Amazing class, if you ask me. On Wednesday I go to my social group, you know, and I meet new people and I have a good time, all that stuff. And on Thursday I see my psychologist. Talk with her about some issues going through my life, some good and some of the bad. Um, and Fridays I just lay back and hang out with my parents, even though I'm just like looking at the pond and just, doing all those stuff. But yeah, and let me tell you guys something. I really do feel much better, like within my life, and I've been keeping up routines, consistent routines. If I tell you something about how, don't like you would not believe what, but I'm kind of going through in my life. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, and it's the best feeling. It's literally the best feeling, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to hold on a sec, guys. Okay, here it is. Um, so what I usually do now is I mainly focus on what I kind of have in my day-to-day routine. And let me tell you guys something. It is by far the best thing that I come across, and I don't it's not working. Actually, let me show you guys my entire screen. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys could actually see this. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my screen today, but I guess it's only, yeah, I'm trying to like test it out, but it wouldn't let me. Oh, because I have to go to Samsung Impressions and okay, doesn't matter. I was gonna show you guys what my schedule is like, but since QuickTime wouldn't let me, and despite the fact that it's being such an ass, um, yeah, I just, I really like when it comes down to QuickTime, I really have a hard time. Yeah, but yeah, that's such a bummer that I can't show you guys my thing. But no, my schedule is like really, really awesome. Like I have this app right now that I'm currently using, and it's called Routines. You know, it's this app where it's kind of like it tells you, um, this is your weekly thing, like you know, and they really keep up to you with your day, like they really keep you up to date of like what have you been doing, and you know, like they really do a lot of things to change your habits, your like the routine itself, which is really kind of cool because over the last couple of months I've been really struggling, and I've got to say I'm quite impressed with myself as a person with intellectual disabilities, knowing that, you know, I feel like I do have something that I could achieve in a lot of perspective. You know, I think it just comes down to this. You have to focus on your inner peace. Your inner peace. If you want me to show you a video of showing you how to focus on your inner peace, let me show you. Like right now. I'll show you right now. Think about it. If you could do that in maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. You can focus literally on what you could make yourself happy. And I think we tend to do that. I'll tell you something. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to a podcast, which shout out to all of these two, three guys. And these guys just make my day. Like, you know, and this podcast is called the Journey Podcast. These guys know how to talk. Like, whenever they have a story to tell, they tell it. And that's what made me want to do this particular podcast. You know, just focusing on what all three of those guys said. I'm not going to really mention their names, but if you just check them out, like a full ass episode, you'll find how you feel. Now, if you're not that person that don't like the swearing and all that stuff, find something that's in your, zone. I'm more of a person where I have to hear someone tell their story very raw, the same way that I did, the same way that I did to you guys at the beginning of the show when I talked about that program that I just left and parted ways in the end of September, because it fueled me up so much that I had to throw it away. I threw it away and that's it. I threw it away months later, which was in May. I focused on myself. And I could tell you guys something, it's good. Like now I feel fucking alive. I feel fucking alive. When you find that inner ability to say, I am proud of myself. I know I can do this. I know I could fucking do this because I'm the man. I have intellectual disabilities, and that's what I'm gonna fucking do. I'm gonna stick it in your face because I know that you were letting me down. No matter who or what or where, those places, those people, they could put you down, but you have to let them know that you're the fucking man, man. Let them know that you're the fucking man. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be who sets you up to the fucking phoenix. I'm telling you something. Right now, I'm working with my YouTube content creator who happens to be my DJ content creator, and I could tell you what he tells me is kind of true. If you have something, go for it. Because if you're just gonna sit there and do absolutely nothing, shit is not gonna get done for you. God is gonna give you the tools, but you're gonna have to figure out what do I do with this? And this is the same thing as what I listened to in this particular podcast, the Journey podcast. One of them said, God gives you the tools. He gives you whatever he throws at you. You have to figure it yourself. If God gives you something, you've gotta think, what the fuck? Like you know what? It's good to ask yourself, what the fuck should I do with these obstacles? That's what I want you to ask. What the should I do with this obstacle that God gave me? What should I do with these particular obstacles? If you don't ask yourself this, then I don't know what to tell you. But you know what? I want to say it in a good way because if you don't know what to do with obstacles, leave them on the side. One day, you'll find whatever God gave you with the obstacles, and it will be in your hands, like right there and then. I remember, like, what was it? A couple of hours ago, I told you guys about going to the city. In my head, I got to ask my parents. I'm like, should I go to the game and this and that? And for some reason, I have the capability to say, you know what? Fuck it, go. I could go right now after this podcast of the Game Changer, and I could be like, I want to go to the city. I'm not going to go and bowl with a bunch of people that don't want to talk to me or something like that because I don't feel comfortable with my anxiety. Even though I do talk to a couple of people, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the city. I'm going to figure out what to do there, even if it's going around Central Park, even if it's going to a bar and talking to the bartender and seeing, how you doing? Doing good? Can I get a Coke or a Monologo or like a Cobb salad, a hamburger with with French fries, and you just sitting there? Like if you have those tools, use them. Like here's the thing: when I was in this particular program, when I first came here to Westchester, God gave me a tool, but for some reason, I did not know what the fuck to do with those tools until I parted ways with this particular program and I said, these are tools that I could use outside of these programs because if I was inside of the program, I wouldn't get anything done with these particular tools that God gave me. All of these tools that God gave me are outside of the program. It might be the same thing with this particular place that I'm enjoying right now, the sponsors, but you might never know. And I could tell you something, every single time when I go to ARC, I already have my tools. I'm up and ready. I have a book bag. I, you know what? Let me show you guys this because it's really true. Hold on. I have a fucking bag right over here. Look at this. Look at this. I have a bag. I have a notebook to jot down all of my ideas, even though I don't really use it as often. Most of the times I use it for the show anyway. And I have this heavy ass binder, which I get worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. You know who came up with this? All of these things? God. I had the book back because it was already sitting there. And this is a book bag that I had for quite a long time. I think since my days at Bosie's. I don't know, but I had this for quite some times. I now have my tools whenever I go to ARC because I know the outcome is going to be you have a book bag, you have a binder, don't have enough paper, you have money. Go and get yourself a notebook. Money can come out of a bank, but also you have to think wisely about what you're going to do with that money. Did you know that a bank is basically you withdrawing something that you really need? You could withdraw money, but do you know that the matter of the fact that if, let's say, you have money, money comes out of this wallet, and you have all this cash, you have all of these cash dollar bills, and you're sitting there and you're like, what do I do with a $10 bill, a $20 bill? Here today, I noticed I didn't have my credit card. I mean, I had my phone. Now we have technology. We use Apple Pay. We use Google Pay. So I use my phone play, and I pay. It's just sitting there. Like anything that God gives you, you better use it because if you don't use it, it's gonna lay down flat, and you're not gonna know what the fuck to use with it. It's just a matter of the fact that you don't know what to do with it. Yet again, you're using something with it. So, you know, but it's it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like here's the thing. I myself am supposed to finish up an assignment that my teacher gave me yesterday. Well, yeah, my teacher gave me last Tuesday from ARC, and we had to do this particular assignment. I didn't do it. I was too focused up on the Knicks. I was thinking too much about what was going on in my mind and the schedule that I have prioritized, but I forgot about this assignment. And it's a Monday, and I'm recording, and in my head, I'm just like, did I forget something? And I did. But now, as I'm recording, I'm just like, after I finish up with this, I gotta finish up doing this because it's laying down here. I can't think about an excuse. The only honest excuse I could be like is just I forgot to do it. because all I thought about was the Knicks and my schedule. Now, I could also tell them I forgot, but there's also an explanation to having something being forgotten. So, you know, but you have tools. Don't worry about it, guys. Like, there's some days where I don't even use these tools, and I'm just like, oh, what do I do now? Like, even I'm sitting there with my phone and I'm just like checking on my Instagram. I'm just like, okay, checking on my Instagram, pulling up Michael Rapport. Like, you see what I'm doing now? I'm getting so distracted on my phone that I have to put it down and focus on this. Like, in the first, I don't know if you saw it right now, but in the first 40 seconds or minute, I wasn't even focused on this. Yet again, I'm recording. So it's amazing that you find yourself, oh wow, I have this device to distract me, but this device has for you to do something. If you need to email someone, which kind of reminds me now, I have to email someone. You gotta email someone, man. That's fun. You know what I mean? Now, you just like you have it. You have the capability to use the obstacles that are given to you by God. And if you're Jewish and you already know Hebrew, Elohim natan lecha matanot. Now, even though the song is Elohim natan lecha b'matana, God gave you a special gift. And then the song goes back to itself and then says a bigger gift. And then just, yeah, in English it's kind of fucked up to know the lyrics, but in Hebrew it's Elohim natan lecha b'matana, davar gadol, davar nifla. Which is like, davar gadol is like something big, davar nifla, so a wonderful thing. So God gave you a special gift, something big, something beautiful. Even I couldn't remember all those things, and yet again in my mind, I'm just like, whoa, shit. Like I remember the lyrics right now, and I just translated into to English. Guess who got me this talent? You don't have to believe in this guy. This guy who's up in the air, Elohim, God. But appreciate what you get. You know? Yeah. But mentally and physically, I am doing very good. I am sleeping very well. I'm going out a little bit. I'm living life. And that's it. That's it. Anyways, guys, like I said before, if you're watching, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Also, make sure to ring that notification bell. Um, and yeah. And if you're on Spotify listening to this, I hope you follow and listen to the podcast. And yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed watching the show or listening to the show. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.